we're back, and now A330-200. I've only flown the A330-200 once when I was coming back from Cancun. This wide-body airliner is definitely one of the best to fly on. It's the cabin lights when dimmed. It's a wonderful atmosphere on board, and it's definitely one of my favorites. I think I actually have to add the A330-200 up with the 787-9. As you can see, the windows are a bit smaller. Yeah, you can see just comparison to the doors. Yeah, but definitely one of my favorites. I think I do have to put this boy in a. We have the 737 MAX 8. I have flown this with Sunwing. I forget where. It was either Cayo Coco or Holguin, but I have to admit, the experience on the 737 MAX is something else. It was fun. I have to admit, the cabin lights like on the A330 was nice, and for a small aircraft like this, it was quite silent, and I really enjoyed my time on the aircraft. I usually don't sleep on planes. It's not because of the noise, but just the way that it was, it kind of made me want to sleep, and it was really exciting going to a new country because I believe this was when I flew to Holguin. This aircraft was just definitely one of my faves, so I think I'm gonna have to put it in A. Alright, so let's move on to an aircraft that I've actually flown more than I've realized. The 737-800. So I've flown this twice with Sunwing, either Cayo Coco or Holguin, I forget, but I've also flown United Airlines with this aircraft, if I'm not mistaken, to San Diego. And also I've flown this with American Airlines from San Diego to Chicago, or Chicago to San Diego. But I know that it was only one of the legs because I found a boarding pass and I looked up the flight number of the specific date because I found a website and stuff. But I learned that I flew on a very interesting aircraft that is now retired, but I will have more on that later. So the 737 is comfortable, but it's not quite the MAX. It's kind of like the Airbus A320 in terms of comfort. It was louder than the MAX, but the windows were nice. They're nice and big, and you can see everything. And I think I have to give it a B because the seat width wasn't great on each aircraft that I flew on. But yeah, let's go ahead and we'll give this boy a B. Next, probably my least favorite aircraft to fly on, the Air Canada Express CRJ 200. This aircraft is uncomfortable. It's tiny seats. The windows are way too low. Like, you have to duck down to look through the window, even at my age. So I can't even imagine what it's like for people who are taller. It's loud, it's noisy. I never want to fly on this aircraft again, to be honest. I've flown on it once or twice, but I remember the experience being absolutely just horrible. I never want to fly the CRJ 200 again, so I'm going to give it the worst of the worst. S. Next, we're going to talk about the CRJ 900. Jeez, this is a terrible quality image. Okay, so I flew the CRJ 900 from Calgary to Edmonton, one of those legs, but this was actually the best of the CRJ family. It was a bit loud, but then again, I was sitting in the back, one of the back rows. It was comfortable, especially for a CRJ series aircraft. It's mediocre. It's not as good as the Airbus A320, I have to say. But actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna give it a B. It was actually pretty good. Now it's time for the CRJ 700. The only CRJ family aircraft I haven't flown on are the 550 and the CRJ 1000. So I believe I have flown on this. I forget where, but just I remember flying on this, and it was in between the CRJ 200 and the CRJ 900. It wasn't super comfortable, but also wasn't that bad. So I think I I think I actually have to give this guy a C. We are now on to probably one of the smallest commercial aircraft that I've ever flown with a mainstream commercial airline. I actually think it's the smallest. It was retired a while ago, like the CRJ 700, the Air Canada Express Beech 1900D. Yeah. This aircraft was actually extremely comfortable. The seat size was great. I forget where I flew this, but I do remember uh, flying on this. I remember the interior of the aircraft was nice. The only thing that it was loud, but I don't really mind that. So I think I really have to give the Beechcraft Beech 1900D a B. Alright, so we are on to the next aircraft, the Embraer E175. So, I've flown this aircraft twice. I've flown it with Air Canada Express and also the Air Canada mainline. I have two different experiences, one in business class and one in economy. I'm going to base it off the one in economy because that's really the best judgment that I can get. So I'm going to do this along with the Embraer E190 because I've also flown that. I think, yeah, this is the E190 or E195, something like that. But both aircraft they were mediocre. They were loud, but not too loud. I think I'm gonna give them. I'm gonna give the E190 a C, and actually the E175 a B, because the E175 was a bit quieter, but it was also more comfy. It had wider seats, more legroom, and it just felt more spacious inside the cabin, whereas the E190 felt a little bit crammed. Yeah. So C and B. Next, we go to the loudest commercial aircraft I have ever been on. The Q400. Yes, the Bombardier Q400 and the Bombardier Q200. Yes, this little thing. I've flown both, and I was going to fly the Q100, which I can't even imagine what kind of a nightmare it would be with this thing being extremely loud. These both have to go in a D. The seats are uncomfortable, they don't recline at all. And the noise. I blasted music in my headphones, and I could still hear the in the background. It was one of the. I don't even know how to describe it. It was not fun to fly on these aircraft. I've only flown Air Canada Express. I know that my most recent I've flown this to Kamloops, to Calgary, to Vancouver, to Edmonton, to just all bunch of stuff. But, yeah, well, this is just gonna be a D. The next aircraft is the Boeing 777-200ER. So, I actually didn't know this existed till earlier, but I've only flown Air France on the 222ER. But I have to admit, it was one of the best experiences I've had. I think this has to go up in an A with a 777-300ER, but now that I think of it, I think the 777-300ER actually has to have a demotion to B, because the 777-200ER and the 777-300ER are not on the same level for reasons like legroom and the spaciousness of the cabin, quietness, just everything. The 777-200ER was just a tier above the 777-300ER, even between the Air France aircraft. I've flown the 777-200ER and the 333ER with Air France, both one to Paris and then one back, because I've only flown to Paris once, and, back. But, yeah, I'm going to demote the 777-300ER and put this guy up in an A. Next, we have the Sukhoi Superjet 100. One of my least favorite aircraft. Yes, the Russian-built Sukhoi Superjet 100. I flew from Paris to Moscow. On the way back, I flew an Aeroflot A320. This aircraft has its pros and cons. The seats, uncomfortable. Windows, big. Cabin, spacious. Noise? Way too loud. Way too loud. You can't even hear the person next to you. It's that bad. It's worse than the Q400, which I don't even know how that's possible. I'm giving the Sukhoi Superjet a D. Embraer E145. So I flew this aircraft to Montrose from Denver and back. This was fun. The aircraft was nice and spacious. The seats were wonderful, though they were wide. And I feel like this aircraft was not that loud. And for these reasons, I have to put this above the CRJ series. I have to give it an A. Alright, so we are on the final aircraft that was retired, I think, in 2019. The most interesting that I flew from San Diego to Chicago. The McDonnell Douglas MD-80. Yes, it was one of the only times I've ever flown American Airlines. I think the only time. That and San Diego to Chicago, or the other way around on a 737, but wow. I'm still surprised that I flew this aircraft. I don't remember much about it. I actually just remember it being loud, and the seats were old style, and I don't know where to put this. If there was a spot between B and A, I would put it there. But I'm sorry, all you MD-80 fans. This boy's going in a B. So, let's do a recap on this two-part video. So, in the A column, we have the Cessna 172, we have the 787 and 787-9, sorry, the 787-8 and 787-9 Dreamliners, the Airbus A330-200, the 737 MAX 8, the Boeing 777-200ER, and the Embraer E145, the ERJ-145. In the B category, we have the Airbus A320, Airbus A319, Airbus A321, 777-300ER, 777-200LR, Airbus A330-300, Boeing 737-800, CRJ-900, Beechcraft Beech 1900D, Embraer E175, and the McDonnell Douglas MD-80. In C, we have the Bombardier CRJ-700 and the Embraer E195. In the D category, we have the Q400, Q200, and Sukhoi Superjet 100. And in the S category, the CRJ-200. That is going to conclude today's video. If you did enjoy, be sure to smack that like button and subscribe to the Nick's Aviation YouTube channel for more awesome aviation-related content just like this. And yeah, that's my aircraft rating list for you, and it is now time for my special announcement. So, in a few, I think, on the 8th to 11th, I will be leaving Canada. I will be flying to Barbados, which means, drum roll please, a trip report! Yes, that means we are going to have our first trip report on the channel. I have flown a lot, but finally I'm going to get to film it, and you guys will see. It's probably going to be on an Air Canada Rouge A319. Hopefully we get the 787-8 Dreamliner for Air Canada, but I'm just so excited. You guys are going to get to see it, and yeah, so I just hope you guys enjoy my next bit of content in these few days. I'm sorry that I haven't been doing daily uploads, I know. But, yeah. Thank you, everybody, and have a wonderful day, and goodbye.
Make it strong. Have some fun. For a little while I'll be a castaway, gonna let the sun shine in.